The internet is in a state of absolute shock. Just a few hours after the Philippines celebrated Alexa's thrilling late-night victory in the California desert, the WTA Live Rankings posted an astonishing update that sent a jolt through the tennis world. When the final points from Indian Wells were officially tabulated, Eala soared to a groundbreaking new career peak of world number 28, cementing her place among the planet's top 30 players for the very first time in a history-making moment. As the first Filipina in history to break into that elite tier of professional tennis, this achievement signifies much more than a mere jump in the standings. It represents a profound shift in the power dynamics of both Asian sports and the international tennis scene. What makes her ascent even more incredible is that just a year ago, doubters were still questioning Eala's ability to withstand the punishing physical nature of the professional circuit, writing her off as just another talented junior player. Yet over a span of only 12 months, she has silenced all criticism with unwavering consistency, building steam through powerful showings during the Australian summer, a remarkable run in Dubai, and ultimately the landmark victory at Indian Wells that shattered the top 30 barrier. This accomplishment proves Alexa is no longer just an up-and-coming talent searching for validation. She has formally become a formidable contender on the WTA Tour, whom the tennis establishment can no longer afford to disregard. The significance of securing the number 28 spot also extends far beyond simple prestige. Cracking the top 30 fundamentally alters a player's career path by providing direct entry and advantageous seedings in major Grand Slam events for the rest of the season, which means she will avoid facing the world's elite competitors in the early rounds. Away from the court, the aftershocks are already rippling through the business side of the sport, as brands and sponsors are reportedly scrambling to amend contracts and marketing strategies. They are recognizing that Eala's journey has elevated her from a rising star to an international sports personality. Within the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain, where she has honed a significant part of her game, the news has been met with profound emotion. Staff and students celebrated the ranking change deep into the night as validation that their training methods can forge world-class champions. However, this monumental climb also introduces an entirely new degree of pressure, as having the number 28 ranking next to her name will change how the rest of the tour perceives her. She is no longer the feel-good underdog story fans rally behind. She is now a prime target that every player ranked below her will be determined to take down. In the meantime, the financial and competitive shockwaves from her success have continued to mount, with speculation that breaking the top 30 mark might have triggered significant bonus clauses in her endorsement contracts, possibly adding hundreds of thousands of dollars to her income and signaling to the sport that Alexa has truly arrived as one of its most powerful new stars. For the rest of the tour, what makes Eala's rise even more formidable is the complete transformation in how she is perceived. Not too long ago, her opponents would analyze match footage, viewing her as a promising junior player. Now, however, numerous sources on the WTA circuit indicate they are reviewing her game with a completely different outlook, identifying her as a dangerous opponent with the potential to upend the established hierarchy of the game's top athletes. Her journey to world number 28 over the last 12 months has called for an incredible amount of physical and psychological fortitude. Training logs indicate she dedicated over 2,000 hours on the courts at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain, powering through exhaustive practice drills, while many of her rivals were taking time off during the offseason. That unyielding dedication fueled her climb of over 100 positions in the rankings, an ascent that very few competitors can manage in such a condensed period. Coaches who have been around her training sessions describe an athlete with an unusually sharp focus. She is someone who sees every practice not just as a chance to stay sharp, but as an opportunity to build a game worthy of a champion. At the same time, her influence is now being registered far from the training environment. The WTA and the worldwide tennis media have begun to acknowledge the massive fan support that surrounds her, driven by the fervent Filipino fanbase, popularly known as the Eala Army. Digital analytics reportedly confirm that the news of her updated ranking created tens of millions of online impressions in only a couple of hours. These are figures that are competitive with some of the most prominent names in the sport. This explosion of attention has made the tennis establishment acknowledge a new global personality emerging from Southeast Asia, a 20-year-old from Manila, whose fame and momentum are changing the traditional narratives of the sport. And yet, despite the worldwide celebrations, sources say Eala has kept her focus and discipline, heading back to the court to practice shortly after her victory, instead of taking time to celebrate the new milestone. While fans all over the Philippines celebrated her achievement with incredible passion, with some commentators drawing parallels to the national excitement during Manny Pacquiao's peak boxing years, the most heartfelt moment apparently took place in private when her mentor Rafael Nadal sent a personal video message. He urged her to see this ranking not as the end goal, but as the launchpad for a much greater opportunity. To many at the Academy, that communication carried a powerful meaning. Eala is no longer seen as just a gifted trainee, but as a potential global ambassador for the very institution that helped shape her career. Entering the top 30 also holds historical importance, positioning her among the highest-ranking athletes ever to emerge from Southeast Asia in the sport's modern era. Looking beyond her individual success, this accomplishment is already sparking significant change back home, with speculation that her triumph will directly lead to fresh investments in tennis facilities and youth training programs. In that respect, Alex's journey is no longer just the tale of one athlete moving up the standings. It is fast becoming an agent of change with the potential to redefine the future of tennis for an entire country. The reverberations from Alexa's climb to world number 28 are now being felt in every sector of the tennis world. And in no place is that reaction more pronounced than in the marketing and media offices connected to the WTA Tour. Social media analytics confirm that the hashtag Eala28 has already gone viral across all digital platforms, creating enormous global interaction and establishing her rank increase as one of the most significant tennis stories of the season. For the sport's conventional power players, this explosion in fame is a huge shakeup because a 20-year-old athlete from Manila is suddenly attracting online engagement that rivals or even outshines some players already positioned inside the top 10. Behind closed doors, executives are coming to terms with the fact that Eala's story connects with people across Asia, Europe, and North America in a manner that very few other players can. Her success has exploded into a global phenomenon, driven almost entirely by the incredible passion of her Filipino supporters. The change is palpable even in the locker rooms, where other players are said to admit that playing against Eala today is a completely different ballgame than it used to be. Thanks to her accelerated development under Rafael Nadal's guidance and the immense backing from her homeland rivals, now see her as a genuine threat, not just another up-and-comer. While Manila erupted in celebration with fans pouring into the streets and tennis clubs seeing a flood of new kids inspired by her victory, a more discreet event was apparently taking place near Indian Wells. There, a private group of backers and business leaders quietly celebrated her achievement and began planning for the opportunities arising from her expanding international presence. The wave of excitement hit an emotional peak after her father, Mike Eala, apparently took to social media with a short, potent message for the critics asking if they were finally convinced of his daughter's talent. That comment went viral almost instantly, perfectly capturing the unwavering spirit that defined her path to success. At the same time, both tournament directors and television networks are scrambling to change their plans, knowing that Eala's games draw huge crowds from Asia and around the world, which puts them under pressure to give her primetime slots. The takeaway for her opponents on the circuit is unmistakable. Even though she's ranked number 28, she's playing on a whole other level that her ranking just doesn't reflect. Reports indicate that coaches and pundits are poring over tapes of her latest matches, attempting to pinpoint the advancements in her technique that have propelled her meteoric rise. Alex has rapidly evolved from a bright young prospect into one of the most exciting new personalities in the sport, and if she keeps up this pace, insiders are convinced this landmark achievement is just a taste of what's to come in her career. Alex Eala's groundbreaking ascent to world number 28 feels like nothing less than a royal crowning for tennis in the Philippines. It's a moment that will go down in history, and the image of her finally seeing her name on the official WTA board at Indian Wells is already the stuff of legend. Onlookers described her standing completely still for a full 10 seconds, running her hand over the digital display while murmuring to herself, "Just the beginning." It was a soft yet powerful promise that sent a clear message to her competitors and put the entire tour on notice that she's aiming for the top 10. This is going to have a massive impact on the Grand Slams. Her new rank ensures she gets a seeded spot, which completely shakes up the usual tournament brackets and makes the top 5 players in the sport reconsider their game plans, while broadcasters and event organizers scramble to capitalize on her extraordinary popularity and appeal. Away from the game, Alex has set off a worldwide marketing explosion. Special edition merchandise is already breaking all pre-sale records. Her social media engagement is through the roof, and the Eala Army, her dedicated fan base, has rallied in force from Manila to Madrid, turning the international tennis scene into her personal stronghold. At the Rafa Nadal Academy, her achievement is now permanently honored with a plaque that says, "Alex Eala World Number 28, motivating the next wave of athletes to pursue their own dreams and affirming that the Academy's training produces top-tier champions. In locker rooms everywhere, the mental takeover is absolute. Among WTA fans and her peers alike, Alex is now seen as the new benchmark for excellence on a global scale. She's a powerhouse who has broken barriers, proven her doubters wrong, and cemented the Philippines' place on the world tennis stage, yet her rank of 28 is just one stop on the journey. The legacy she's creating, the dynasty she's starting, and the commanding influence she wields are all just getting started. So, if Alex's incredible rise has you as fired up as everyone else, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing tennis content, and drop a comment to show your support because this is the dawn of a new age and you have a front row seat.